had a great experience through my association with different singers to know some really good ones. And one of my favorites and one of my dearest friends in the world was the great Jimmy Rogers, who sang Honeycomb, Kisses Sweeter Than Wine, Uh-Oh, I'm Falling in Love Again. And Jimmy had like 23 gold albums or gold records and about 5 gold albums. He and I had first met at Knollwood Golf Club in Granada Hills, and this was in 1965. I was assistant pro there, and Jimmy and I got to be really close acquaintances. Got drunk a few times together in the evening over at the club. He'd come into the back room with the golf pro there and the actor Jim Davis, who played father on Dallas. And everybody remembers Jim. That's an old-time Western fan because he was in a jillion movies. But he and Doyle Maynard, the pro there, and myself and Jimmy and a couple of other guys who shall remain nameless, were there. We would get in the back room, and Jimmy would entertain us, bring his old guitar over there and entertain us, just going at it sometimes till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Heard a lot of Jimmy's gold records before he even ever had them published. A lot of them were songs that some people wouldn't recognize, and some of them got to be very, very famous hits. I think at that time, the song "It's Over," he had not recorded it at that time, and it got to be one of his biggest hits. But after I left California and moved back to Arkansas, we built our teaching facility there. He had moved back to Branson and had his own show in Branson, Missouri. And we got reacquainted during that time when he was up at Branson. And he would drive from Branson, bring his old pickup truck from Branson down to Hot Springs, and would stay in our clubhouse. We had a bed set up in there, and had a nice locker room and a refrigerator and stove and everything else. So he had everything that he needed. Jimmy was a country kid at heart, so he didn't need anything fancy there. But we would get out there on the practice tee and hit thousands and thousands of golf balls and sing, and he'd go through different pieces of music with me, and golly, such a talented guy. Wrote so many great scores. Did a couple of movies I know for Disney that I don't know is that they haven't been published yet or what, but they're definitely recordings and whole shows that at some point in time will be recorded, because I know that his kids will see that it happens. But lots of memories from back then. We would occasionally go into Hot Springs when he'd be staying at the clubhouse. We'd need to get groceries. We'd go in the store. He was such a character. He would clown around with me all the time. He'd like to pretend that we were a gay couple. We'd go over in the fresh vegetable section, and he'd walk over and put his hand on my arm. He says, "Sweetie, can you tell me how to tell if a tomato is ripe, or if a cantaloupe is exactly at the right time it should be cut, so that I know it's as fresh as it possibly can be?" And do stuff like that to me all the time too. I mean, what a riot. He used to be able to get my goat. He could get you laughing like nobody I've ever known. One night we had got on my boat, went over on Lake Washita, prettiest lake in the United States, And we would go over there and camp, get out on an island and camp on the lake somewhere. One night we had gone over there, had pitched our tent, and we're sitting by the campfire out there. You cannot see a light anywhere on the lake. No other fires anywhere going out there, nobody camping. Just a gorgeous evening in the fall. I flipped on the radio, and lo and behold, soon as the music comes on the radio, it's Jimmy Rogers singing Today. Gorgeous, gorgeous song. One of my favorite songs. Of the fact that I could just flip the radio on and here's Jimmy singing one of his best hits on the radio. Didn't dial it in or anything. Talk about karma. I don't know how it could have been any better than that. But little moments like that happen in your mind in history, and you don't know where they came from or why they did at that particular time, but who in the world could have, at what point in time could you be in the middle of bloody nowhere, turn your radio on, and have the guy that you're sitting next to be the recorder of that song? Got to hear it from the first note all the way through. Somebody explained to me how stuff like that happens, because regardless of what I may or may not know about the golf swing, when little moments like that happen in your life, I can't explain them. I don't know why stuff like that happens, but boy, they certainly, when you get on in years and you look back, whatever divine providence makes things like that come out of nowhere are hard to figure out, but it's one of the things that makes living on this earth really cool.